Hey guys, Drifter here. Welcome back to the Black Ops Cold War beta. This is weekend number 2, which is now available not only to PS4, but also PC and Xbox. And the gameplay you're seeing right now is some beautiful, glorious, and crisp 1440p PC gameplay. We're opening it up with a little bit of gameplay from the brand new mode, which is Fireteam Dirty Bomb. I have an entirely different video going live on this mode, probably later today, because I enjoyed it a lot. Fireteam Dirty Bomb is 4 teams of 10 that all attempt to get uranium and detonate bombs that kind of screw up the map, and you win the game by detonating the most bombs. We will talk about this later in the video, but what you want to ask me is the beta better? Is it improved, or do I still not like it? Do I still have to be on the COD beta hate train? And the answer is that the beta is overall much better. I'm serious when I say that, and I don't even think that the base game itself changed that much, but the connections certainly did. The connections, subjectively speaking, to my localized experience, are better than they were last weekend. Last weekend, they were a nightmare for me, and they were frustrating for a lot of other players too. But this weekend, they were more normal. It felt like a normal Call of Duty connection. It felt about right. It didn't bother me. I played Fireteam Dirty Bomb, and I kind of expected this mode to like lag super hard, but this mode has 30 hertz servers for some reason, which is a little bit surprising. That's higher than 12v12. The ping to the servers was low, and I had that same experience last weekend that I had, a good tick rate and a good connection and ping on a local server, but I just suffered. This weekend, not so much. As for 12v12 and 6v6, the tick rates and servers that I connected to and pings were again about the same as last weekend. They didn't change very much, but my subjective experience got a lot better. I don't know if that's because I'm on a computer. I don't know if they've done something on the back end. I really don't know a lot of things, but I can tell you subjectively, I'm enjoying the new connections, whatever they have done with them. I got a lot less BS deaths. I was behind in a lot less gunfights. I was able to have gunfights and not just get blown up, which is a godsend. I do want to let you guys know this is Call of Duty. We are playing Call of Duty. There are some goofy deaths. There were a few, bullets around corners and a few, I can't believe I lost that, but it was nothing abnormal for this franchise or series. It went back to being the Call of Duty that I know and love and complain about occasionally when I get killed by bullets around corners. But that was like the minority of the time. That was every single gunfight in the last beta. This one, it might have been 1 out of 20, 1 out of 30, which is perfectly acceptable as far as I'm concerned. And most of the more bizarre things that I experienced from last weekend were gone. And I think that's related to connections more than anything else, in that all of this shoot first, die first, these laser beam enemies that I don't even know if the recoil was loading into the kill cams, these very questionable gunfights, instant deaths, the stutter stepping, that's a big one. Okay, so last weekend what was happening is the enemies would kind of stutter step around the map, and sometimes when they would slide, it would speed them up super fast and fling them, or they would freeze and then they would run super fast to their new server position. I didn't see that once this weekend. There was no weird movement, no Barry Allen the Flash, no people going around on rocket skates like rocket power. Well, within reason. Now, we do have the Duster stock still, and there is knee sliding in the game that's relatively fast. So I did have some people slide on me and slide into me. I got slide quickscope killed once, but it wasn't like all the time. Previously, it was just like all the time, people bouncing everywhere. This one was far more manageable. The third thing I want to talk about today is skill-based matchmaking. That's something that I think a lot of you were interested in. I didn't really talk about it too much last time because it's kind of a toxic dump to wade into, but subjectively speaking, it was easier. Now, I was playing on a higher resolution, one that I like, and with my keyboard and mouse the way I like it, and I was also in a squad of people that I could communicate with and rely on. I almost said lie on. That would be dirty. No, I rely on these people for a lot of things. A lot of my moderators came in, and some subscribers and stuff from the Twitch stream, so we had a lot of fun, a lot of familiar faces that you've seen before. And I thought that since we played in a squad, especially in a squad of high-skilled players, a squad that usually attracts the sweaty boys in Warzone, that the skill matching might be problematic, but it kind of wasn't. All of the people in my squad, I will say, were skilled players, but not many of them were like regular everyday players. They were like a couple of time a week players. I don't know if that matters or not. And we did, throughout the course of our play session, if you saw on Twitch, have sweaty lobbies. Whatever they did to the skill matching did not remove the possibility that you're going to get put in a sweaty lobby, but we only had 1 or 2 out of like 10 games. And if 20% of the games are sweaty, that's fine. That means that, you know, 20% of the games I can challenge myself and the other 80 is not so bad. This could be a bad sample. It's a pretty small sample, so statistically speaking, there's a chance of it being a bad sample. But if this trend continues, I will be perfectly happy, subjectively speaking, with whatever skill matching is going on right now. Let's talk about PC optimization for a minute. And my opinion on PC optimization is that it's currently in about the same state that Warzone is. Whatever, if your PC runs Warzone, whatever sort of settings and frame rate and stability you have is going to be very similar if you're running Fireteam Dirty Bomb or even base multiplayer. And if for those of you watching on stream, you could see me cry in single PC streaming. So I'm streaming this game in 1440p 60. I don't turn my frame rate above 60 because I'm also recording the raw gameplay that you see in this video. And I'm encoding for stream, and I'm running RTX all on the same card, RTX voice all on the same card. And I've got a 2080 Ti, but running the game, the raw recording, the stream, and the RTX voice all on one card bogs it down a lot, so I cannot crank those frames. And you guys might see a lot more Raid Shadow Legends in your future, because I gotta get some money. I gotta get on this dual PC train. I gotta make a couple grand here. Maybe just watch this video like 500 times on loop. Every single person does it, that'll work. But for what it is, I think that's good. I think that the lower frame rate and some of the drops and dips were something more localized to my machine because of what I'm doing with it. If I turned off OBS and if I turned off Shadow Play, I think I could easily crank 120 FPS out of this rig. And I think that's what most of you would be able to do if you had a similar rig. So if you can run Warzone, you can run this. I did have frame drops. Frustratingly though, the frame drops were mostly in a gunfight. They were when I would really start shooting people, and I think it was when I would take a bullet and I would flinch and my screen would move really fast and it would start flashing or loading red things or smoke. It hated that. I would usually dip from 61 FPS down to about 55 to 50 in some gunfights, but not others, just kind of depending. I don't really know why. And over the course of this beta, I'm going to work with my PC to get the settings right so that I don't drop during gunfights. I'm going to play with my Shadow Play and OBS settings. I'm going to try to get this single PC streaming thing a little bit more stable. But I'm happy with the PC optimization. It's working, it's workable, it's going to get better over time. I'm going to get a better GPU. We're all going to get better GPUs over time, so this is going to work out well. And let's talk about Fireteam Dirty Bomb, something that you saw in the beginning of this video. I think it's a good mode. At least my first couple of games playing it were very positive. I had a lot of fun. I think Fireteam Dirty Bomb has a lot of potential. I'm going to compare it to Plunder, and I'm going to say that it's very similar to Plunder, but ultimately better. So basically what you do in this mode is it's very much so like Plunder. There's 6 locations on the map. You land and you loot. You can find a lot of different kill streaks in the loot. You can find armor satchels, but most importantly, you find uranium. You can hold up to 5 pieces of uranium. You take this uranium to a bomb site. The bomb site, I think, takes 25 uranium deposits, and then it's ready to go boom. But you have to arm it. It's a very, very slow arming thing, so you have to have your teammates protect you. If your teammates are nearby, you can arm it faster. Once it goes boom, you get a ton of points, and also radiation starts emanating and spreading all over the map and poisoning everything, which is very cool. I have seen teams detonate locations just to cut off the other sections of the map, so it's harder to come get them. The only downside to this mode, the only thing that I don't like about it, is that very like Plunder, and like Alcatraz, you have people landing on top of you. You have people landing and coming back for revenge very, very quickly. So when you have 2 or 3 teams fighting over an objective, it's just respawn chaos. I feel like the timers or the distance could be changed on that to allow for me and my team to effectively wipe an enemy team and control an area. But it still played okay. It's supposed to be, I think it's supposed to be kind of a chaotic mode, and it worked. The vehicles in this mode ultimately were fun somehow. I thought that the giant helicopter would be OP, but it only takes 3 rockets to take down the helicopter. And out of 40 people on the map, 3 rockets does not take very long if you're focusing it. The same thing with the tanks. There's dune buggies, motorcycles. You can shoot on the motorcycles now. Like, you can just like hip fire people and do like one-man drive-bys, which is cool. I had a ton of fun with it. The flaws with this mode are basically the same flaws that you run into with Warzone and Plunder. And if you can manage those, then you can manage Dirty Bomb for the most part. I have a whole video on this going live soon. I was really happy. And then finally, near the end of the video, I want to talk about movement and other tuning. Treyarch dropped a gigantic patch of things that they changed. They did some nerfs to the M16 and Milano. They buffed the AK and some of the other weapons. They tuned some attachments. They tuned the movement speed, the sprint out speed, the knee sliding speed. They tuned all sorts of different speeds and little like tweaks and fixes and UI changes and stuff. And I gotta say, you know, it shows. Maybe that's just my bias. Maybe I'm just so happy with my connection that I'm biased about everything today. But it really does show, and you can really kind of feel the overall improvement of quality in a subtle way. It's like getting a sequel that kind of like, you know, the part 1 is pretty good, and then part 2 like really polishes up those rough spots, like Alien and Aliens, or Terminator and Terminator 2. So pretty happy with that. Pretty happy with all the changes, the movement, the Dirty Bomb. And I feel like I'm rambling at this point. Like I'm just basically just praising Treyarch, but I really am legitimately happy is the answer. I am happy to be able to play a normal Call of Duty and experience these things without lagging or weird chop or like bizarre bullets and stuff like that. So overall, very happy with the beta so far. I'm going to be playing it all weekend, leveling stuff up, streaming, and of course, looking at it with a very critical eye. So if something does go wrong, I will be the first person to complain about it on Twitter. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you learned something useful. If you did, don't forget to like, favorite, and subscribe. Drifter out.